go find me, I come from. Want me go away, go now. Go hard for my dream, that. Want me let me spicy club.
For each one of you, how do you handle creative ruts? Like, we understand the importance of being creative and to maintain that edge, that creative edge. When you're stuck in a rut, what do you do? How do you handle that? Keegan, I'm hearing you.
No, I talk to them with some mom. It's like, what kind of questions you asking? What we doing? Do you really want these answers? Do you really want these answers, dog? All right, let me go first then. Short answer, you don't. You don't get out of that rut. You never do. You just put it out. Yeah, there is no getting out of it. I was in a rut for several years. To some extent, I still think I'm in that rut. I have designs that I've been using for the past 7 years. I want people to understand that. 7 years. People now seeing it. People now loving it. And I pushing it over 7 years. There comes a point in your brain as a creative, like, maybe I should start doing some more designs. But you don't know how. Because and this goes multi-tiered depending on what kind of occupation or creativity you have. Real creativity comes in where you have all these obstacles and you find loopholes to make it happen. But sometimes you just don't. You just have to survive in your creative rut. And maybe, the funny thing, probably the littlest things might spark something.
Yeah.
You might have a conversation with your partners, you might drink, or you might watch something on TV or the internet, or it could be something so silly. It could be something you see on TikTok, because TikTok is a devil and it will trap you. At a time I spent
Love it
5
there.
5 hours.
Mind you, it's
5
only been
hours
2
though.
months since I've been,
Yeah.
on TikTok. Love it there.
You know what? Talking about creative. One of the creative things about design of TikTok is the infinite scroll.
Yeah.
There's no bottom. There's only, so like things like that now. But obviously, there are pros and cons. You can be able to learn things on like creative TikTok and like a clean TikTok, which is mesmerizing. But like literally, like you just get inspiration from these different things, and then it could be able to, like the SOE, for example. I made those jackassy thing t-shirts, so like hotcakes. Pandemic made masks. I made t-shirt masks, most comfortable mask ever. Sell like hotcakes. You just have to see what's in front of you, contextualize it, and then make something happen. And I think that is where you can kind of find loopholes from the creative rut. But just know, as a creative adult, it's a constant loom over you, like the sword of Damocles, that rut is always going to be there. Rut is next to me right now. Creative rut is lying with me as we speak. When I say good night, guys, I'm gonna lie on my bed for like 2 hours just staying in the space saying, what design I gonna make now? So Ross is always there.
I don't know if I'm because I'm young, this is how I feel. But I don't really get creative ruts. I get emotional ruts. Like, and when I'm in my emotions, dog, leave me, let me bury myself in the earth. Let me just rot. So once I can sort my emotions out and like that space of my life out, then I can resume. And what Keegan said with respect to little things being that kind of like spark, that's how it happens for me all the time. That's how I create. I don't know if any of you guys would have read Steal Like an Artist, but there's a book called Steal Like an Artist. Do you like have it there, Keegan?
I think I do, but I don't know where it's at. But yes.
I don't have a physical version of it, but yeah. Steal Like an Artist talks about the fact that we create from inspiration, like from seeing other art, from seeing things from, and then creativity is also about noticing patterns and making connections from things that people may not ordinarily make a connection with. So things like critical thinking and divergent thinking, asking a different question, trying to see something from a different perspective, trying to put yourself in the character's shoes. So like always just creative. That is what creativity is: putting yourself in a new place, trying to see something from a new angle. Um, and there's so much inspiration everywhere. I think it's because of my space too. As it pertains to like creative media production, I'm always getting ideas, and my brain is always trying to think about things. I always see things creatively. I love Pinterest. Pinterest is like one of my favorite places to exist. I get a lot of inspiration from there. Design places like Behance, just seeing other people's work, um, and having a lot of Yeah, yeah, Keegan, you could interject if that's what you.
No. What I was trying to what I was trying to say to what you were saying is, I think it's different tiers of inspiration and creative rut. Right? So you would say, "Oh my gosh, I have so much inspiration around." I think for me is a situation where my inspiration has evolved to where I now have to understand, is this what the general consumer may like as well too, and
Yeah,
have
space,
comparison. So
context matters a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
because you could make anything and then nobody go buy it, and then
yeah,
they're like, Christ, I have to do this over. So I think it's a level of finding that balance or that fight between what is good for consumers, because you have to think about people as a group and not as a person, and then you have to have that clash with your idea and make it in the middle. I don't know whether it could be changed with colors or with size or layout or context or whatever, but that I think is what it is. Because inspiration, I can get inspired by anything on my table, but
yeah,
I think is when you really have to bring it to showcase, or
yeah,
in your case, if you are writing something and you get inspiration for something and then you have to balance it here, like, would this be good for people to find this compelling?
yeah.
That is where the rut comes in. The rut knocks on your shoulder like, hey, the garbage or start over. And you're like, no, don't. So that's what I mean. So yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I get that. I get that completely, 1000%. Um, and I think in my particular space, I definitely do experience what Keegan is talking about because in that space, like if I write a script and I get feedback on it, that's what it is for me. It's now I have the idea, so how to tailor it to the consumer, how to make it work, you know? Um, but it's always about, for me, conversations is a huge thing for me. I love having conversations. I love talking with people, getting to hear their perspective on something. Again, because divergent thinking is a part of creativity. So hearing something that you may not have considered, that's a major thing for me. And that's how I would advise someone. And obviously it's subjective 1000%. Like what would work for someone will not work for someone else. So you definitely, that's something you have to work out within yourself. But I think trying to gain a different perspective, which is why working in teams and brainstorming in teams is sometimes good, trying to bounce your idea off of some people who you trust. Again, balance in life is always something to be considered because don't you need to know when it gets to that point where you don't have to take any more feedback because you can feedback until the, the end of the earth, and to the time that your creation makes no sense to you anymore, which I think is not healthy. So it definitely is about balance in that space. But I think the as you grow and as you exist in the world and figure out your life, like all of us are trying to do, you'll get what works for you and try different things. But yeah, I think definitely conversations help me and trying to like see things from probably a different perspective.
Yeah, I would say the same. I think conversations help me a lot. Um, I never really experienced a creative rut. Maybe it was just trying to get, as the business got bigger, it was trying to reshape the way I do the training um, to satisfy everybody. Because in a group training setting, you need to make everybody feel like it's one-on-one training, if you understand what I'm saying. So, I mean, certain days, just to talk to somebody that you trust, that understands the business as well, like a little mentor. Plenty times I'll just look at other trainers, see what they're doing, see what I could do it better, or what I could do different. And yeah, that's about it for me, really and truly.
I mean, for me,
like Cameron was saying, I don't usually have creative ruts because there are so many ideas all over, right? That I try my best to make my own. But emotional ruts, been kicking my ass. And before, what I would do is just be like, forget that life goes on. Nobody cares, work harder. That would be my thing, right? And I would just keep chugging through it. But within recent times, it crippled me to the point where I just had to be like, I ain't doing nothing. I just gonna stay in, right? And like Keegan said, you feel like you're not always there, right? So there was this one day I telling myself, I talking myself out it, nobody cares, we caught at 24. Up for 2 days, my mind was clicking just in squat. I started to get these zeal to want to do things again, right? Did it. I would say the emotional rut kind of crippled my inspirations in the sense that after being on a high and doing this and this was successful, I went back into a space where I was like second guessing myself if this idea will pop, if I should do this now, if there's the best timing to move forward. You understand? So what worked for me was again being gentle and kind with myself and trying to force myself to understand it's okay. It's okay to be like this for now, you know? It's okay to take a little downtime. So I take 2 weeks and watch Real Housewives start to end. And that's something that I haven't done, not just that show, but I felt like I wasn't in a position to just be and do nothing for many years. So I found that just doing that for those 2 weeks, it worked because somewhere along the line in watching the show, something frivolous, it gave me a spark again to go. So now I understand that, just be patient with yourself. Have the discipline enough to know that you have to get yourself from here. And this is not going to last for long or forever. But be patient enough to let it pass,
I feel like we underestimate sometimes the power of rest for us, one, as human beings, and two, as creatives. Like Keegan had said early on, when he said procrastination, like sometimes we need to let ourselves rest. And whatever that means to you in that space, in that moment, whether it's with an idea, whether it's just from life, whether it's whatever, like the power of rest, I think we underestimate this, and that can come from various things, like in terms of the whole what is it, toxic productivity, like if I were to give it a term, just the idea that you need to always be on, you need to always be ahead of the curve, and you need to always be doing something, like you can't be unproductive, you can't take a beat, you can't, like, just that. There is a level of toxicity in that, in perpetuating that culture of just always needing to be doing things in order to be successful or in order to seem successful, because successful people know the value in rest as well, so I think that's something that we should consider in that space as well, just the power of rest.
Go find me, I come from. On me go wake up now. Go hard for me dream that. Let me spicy club.